Yeah.
Good afternoon, all one and all present here. Today, as you all know, that lockdown is here and the world is going online. So for that, we are having a tech-savvy person with us. He is an president of DTU Toastmasters. He is none other than Toastmaster Abhinav. And for taking his interview, we are having our soft skills trainer and an entrepreneur and an owner of Special Wow series. She is none other than DTM Richa.
Thanks a lot, Shubham, for the warm welcome and most welcome, Abhinav. We have been hearing about all the endeavors and all your achievements, all the things that you keep doing at DTU. Nevertheless, we also know you as a computer savvy person. So, first of all, let me know which is your favorite language. Are you fond of some language or apps?
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me, Richa. And to answer to that question, as far as language is concerned, I think I code a lot in C++. That is because I like problem solving. And there are actually tons of languages available wherein you can code. There's Python, there is Java, and I tried all these languages. And after gaining the experience of coding problems in all these languages, making different kind of projects, I finally realized that I'm most comfortable with C++. But I keep trying. As of now, C++ is the language that I'm most comfortable in, but I keep exploring different languages and trying myself with and trying
Yeah.
to do different try
That's
to
nice.
work in different
Actually,
technology.
you got to be perfect with this one language and then you keep on decoding things, isn't it? This is
Yeah,
how you
r-
can progress.
as they say that be a master of not one rather than being a jack of all trades.
All trades,
So
yes.
yeah.
Very right. What do you understand by constructors and destructors?
What do I understand by constructors and destructors? Okay, the constructors is basically you're going into object oriented programming,
Object-oriented
right?
programming. Yes.
Exactly. So when it comes to constructors are used for initializing various variables in an object. So if you want to initialize certain items in an object, then you can easily use a constructor, which is a function which is present in the class of the object. So if you just simply call the constructor, then the objects will be initialized automatically. So that is why
Okay.
constructors are used, and delete destructors are used to delete the same objects once you've created them to free up space.
Okay. What are arrays?
Well, array is basically a data structure that you use in order to store memory and do certain manipulations when you're trying to solve certain problems. There are a lot of problems that you deal with in computer science. So array is one of the data structures, and one of the most I also really like using arrays. I mean, while solving different problems, it is one of the most basic data structures. If you're starting with computer science, then array would be the first data structure. So,
Oh,
like, do you want to? If you want me to go into the technical details of it, I can go into that as well. Uh,
it's fine. Okay.
okay.
What do you feel are the opportunities after pursuing your computer science engineering? What are the
Okay.
career prospects?
All right. So actually, when I took computer science, I was aware about the fact that it has a large scope. It's not only related to that I end up with a computer science degree, then only I can be a part of it. Even the person who's studying mechanical engineering, even somebody doing biotechnology, computer science is present in almost every aspect. I mean, it's present almost everywhere. So I was aware about the scope. So if you want to go for machine learning, which is a very whose scope is increasing rapidly. I mean, it has a vast scope in future as well. That is something that is in very high demand, and most of the companies as well are looking for candidates who have some or the other level of problem solving skills. So I mean, in that aspect, computer science is really growing, and it has got a lot of opportunities to offer, whether it be Bitcoin, whether it be fintech, even in financial world. Almost every area you see, you will find some or the other application of computer science.
I think this will
So
be evergreen stream, isn't it?
yes, this is going to be the evergreen stream, and computer science is the future.
Is the
I mean, as you
future,
know.
definitely.
Yes.
How do you feel like these online sessions are different from a physical session, the physical classrooms? What difference do you find?
Sachin, as in the teaching that is being conducted
Yes, in
for
the
computer science.
universities. Yes.
Okay. Well, to be honest, I am in complete favor of these online classes because in online classes, first of all, when you're trying to teach, if you can teach with good examples and with a better clarity, then it is that the you can even make the boring topic more interesting. So that is what happens, if you're trying to learn something, if you can somehow make it interesting and as clear as possible in as less words as possible, is then when the clarity comes in. So I have studied both in the physical classroom and both in online classroom. What I feel is they are recorded sessions, so even if you don't understand something, you can rewatch the same thing again. And most importantly, the even in classrooms you might not get access to the world's best teachers. Here, while studying online, there are a lot of platforms available like Coursera, Udemy, Udacity. So there you can be taught from, you can learn things from the best instructors out there, from universities like Stanford, MIT, and even from the best instructors that are available in India. So no doubt that, and it's also cheaper as compared to physical
More
training.
economical. Yeah. And you've got
more
a
more
vast choice. Yes. Lot
Yeah,
of choice.
and you can
Hmm.
do the same from the comfort of your homes. You don't have to go anywhere. So
Excellent. Yeah.
that is something that is growing.
Yes, a lot of people look at you as the president of the Toastmasters Club in DTU. So, what
Mhm.
were the challenges you faced in the very initial stage when you started with as a president?
Uh, so I think as they say that if you want to become a leader, you can't just read 50 books on. If you want to be a swimmer, for example, you just can't read 50 books on swimming. You have to enter the pool first of all in order to swim, right? So same thing goes with leadership. You can't read just 50 books. You have to enter the arena, and that's what happened with me. I had read a lot of books. I had watched a lot of YouTube videos, but only when I took up the position, then I got to know that what all challenges go on. It's not just about giving the presidential address and ending the meeting. It's all about, I had to actually coordinate with a lot of my entire EC, give assign them different roles, give them work. I remember the time when I had to organize this big demo meeting in the auditorium of our college. And I remember the kind of challenges. I had to talk to a lot of college administration. I had to face a lot of issues while booking the venue, and I had to call a lot of people from outside. We even called a stand-up comedian, so he was also late. So you have to coordinate a lot of things. So I think negotiating with people, decision-making skills, and organizational skills are something that I got to learn. And throughout these challenges that I've faced as during my presidential tenure, I have got to learn a lot, and this learning keeps going on, and I'm improving as a leader.
Yes. So, what are the 5 traits of a leader?
What are the 5 traits of a leader? Okay. um well, I don't know, I'm not getting as such some very specific 5 traits, but a leader has to be a good manager. He should be able to manage people. I mean, whoever his subordinates are, he should be able to manage them very well and assign them work properly. He should be a good listener. I mean, you can communicate, you can be you can communicate and tell people, but you should also be listen to what people are trying to say, and then be empathetic towards that as well, and then take a rational decision. So that is another trait I feel. Um, he should be obviously a good decision maker. Decision making skills are also very important part of being a good leader. And definitely he has. Yeah, I think these are the three most important qualities I feel. He needs to be a good negotiator,
Yes.
and
I think negotiation is one thing which is everywhere. It is in our life,
everywhere.
isn't
Yes,
it?
exactly. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we all, yeah, innately
uh,
are leaders as we are born, right?
yes,
And it's
definitely.
leadership has to be there in is there in every aspect of our life. Even if you are a family member, you have to show some or the other level of leadership.
Yes,
So
definitely,
now there
definitely.
and
Okay, tell me, what would do you prefer, like working on WebEx for online meetings or Google Meet? What is better?
Acha, so you're asking me the best online platform. Okay, so I have. had the privilege of seeing working on all these platforms that you just mentioned, because we keep having Toastmasters online meetings. So Webex, I had a very bad experience with Webex,
Oh,
and yeah, I mean, I was not very much convinced with the user interface and user experience that you call UI UX that you talk that
okay,
most of
okay.
the people talk about. So I was not very much comfortable with it. There were a lot of issues. So I think Zoom and Google Meet are doing a great job today. And Zoom is more of a startup with less number of employees, I guess.
Yes.
So I think they are really doing a great job with what they it's the startup was founded in 2015, I guess. So it's been 5 years, but this it's only the hard times when a lot of companies grow, and Zoom is one of those companies that
Yes.
have really grown in these hard times. So I think both Zoom and Google Meet have are doing great job. Actually,
Almost
Zoom,
at
Google
on
Meet,
the same, almost on
both
the same rank.
kind
Yeah.
kind of on the same rank. I
Yeah.
mean, there might be some or the other differences that you might find. Like someone might like the interface of Google Meet, some might like Zoom, but that's very person specific thing. So if
Definitely.
you ask my opinion, that I am actually comfortable with both the platforms. I have no issues as
Great.
such.
Good to hear you. Now over to Shubham. He also has some questions for you.
Okay, sure.
Hey, Avinav. So my
Hi.
first question to you is like, what is big data? I am not knowing about big data as such.
Okay, so I, as a computer science student, I'm not, even I am also not into big data. As a computer science student, my expertise lies in solving problems with using various data structures and algorithms, and I'm also exploring the field. But as far as my knowledge about big data is concerned, then you know what, as they say, that data is the new oil, and there is tons and tons of data that is present all over the world. What when even when you're clicking on a website, Google is collecting your data. Even when you are purchasing something, the flip from Flipkart, that is collecting your data. They're continuously monitoring what are your likes, what are your dislikes. You would have seen that if you type something on WhatsApp, that let's say you like let's say you like drinking juice, then automatically, have you seen that when you go to Instagram or maybe on Amazon, you
Yeah.
certainly start finding things related to that particular thing. So continuously they're monitoring your data, and this data is a lot of data. And so in order to manage this kind of data, big data is another technology. So if have you heard of Hadoop?
I've heard of Hadoop.
You've heard of Hadoop, right? So Hadoop is one of the interfaces, like it's one of the framework that is used to manage and organize this big data, so that the data can be efficiently be stored and then can be utilized in order to serve the various kind of users. So that is where big data comes in, and it has got a lot of scope again for the
Like,
future.
okay, like one last question for you is, like
Mm-hmm.
everyone is saying that post-corona jobs will decline, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
according to me, like it will take 2 years to settle down. Everyone is like in shock.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
people will, most of the people will be doing the work from home, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Will it not be increasing the job of computer, like tech savvy persons and software engineers, because everything is going online as such night right now?
Mm-hmm.
So what are
So
your opinions?
increasing. So what are my opinions about the job cuts you're asking me
Yeah,
that are
job
happening these days?
job like job cuts for software engineers,
Hmm.
like tech savvy persons.
Got it, got it, got it, got it. So
Yeah.
see, a lot of my classmates lost their jobs, and I'm very much active on LinkedIn. Even today, I just saw 3 posts about people losing their internships in United Health Group, and some of my friends, even in who were placed in Samsung Research Institute Bangalore, even they lost their jobs, and so now they'll be joining in probably January. But you know what? The thing is, a lot of companies, have gone down. That is, a lot of layoffs have happened in various companies that have been affected by the pandemic. For example, Uber, or Oyo Rooms, or Airbnb, or UHG, as I got to know today, or even Samsung. But there are a lot of companies who were positively affected by it. For example, this pandemic has given rise to a lot of startups. For example, Zoom that you're seeing, and Amazon e-commerce. See, a lot of e-commerce companies are delivering so many products. They've even started delivering alcohol nowadays. So a lot of, for these companies like Zomato and Amazon and all these e-commerce and online companies, even the company that I have joined, that is MobiQuick, even that has been affected by it, positively affected by it. So I'm kind of lucky in that aspect that I didn't get a job in in a company that is negatively affected by it. But you know what, it's all about what you look into it. If you it's all about, even it's all about building the right kind of skills. Maybe right now, you might not have gotten the job, but in software industry, it's all about who is the most skilled person. So even if you have lost the job, you should look at the positive side of it. If you don't have a job, utilize the 6 months time in order to build your skills. There are a lot of skills you can build up during this time, and after 6 months, you can definitely have a great job. I mean, the
True.
industry is looking for people who are skilled enough. So I don't think so it's that bad. I mean, it's all about how you look at it. And once you're skilled enough, this will be over in like 6 to 10 months. Things will be fine. I'm pretty sure about it. So that's how I'm looking into it.
So
It's
that
not
was,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was awesome hearing you. So thank you for coming and connecting with us. So over to you, Richa ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Abhinav, for enlightening us on so many topics and so many aspects. I'm sure that all the youngsters, the first year especially, will soon connect with you and they will be looking forward to you as their mentor.
Oh,
Thanks a lot for sparing your
great,
valuable
great.
time.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Sir. I had a great time interacting with you all as well. And thank you so much for inviting me
Thank you.
to this session. Okay.